Hello and welcome back to the Madhouse.
Grab your
Thank
straight
you.
jacket, strap in.
Yes,
This is Controlled Chaos with Nick and Des. I'm Nick.
I'm Des. Okay, we're gonna do the update on my Crohn's, my downscope, because my stomach's been all messed up. But they didn't find anything in the downscope, and they took a couple biopsies. I got the results back, and everything is fine with the biopsies.
Yeah, the biopsies were normal, so that's
Yeah.
good.
But I still have to do a yucky test that I really don't want to have to do.
No, that's gross.
It's the stool sample he wants, so it's just a matter of doing that and getting it back to the lab. And I really hate having to do the stool samples.
What is it with doctors who want to play with poop?
I, I
It's
have
like, do you
no
all
idea.
have like some kind of fetish that we need to know about?
Right?
I understand that you can just find all kinds of things about someone's health from that. It's just the idea of it is weird.
Yeah,
It's
gross.
probably why I never went into science.
Yeah, really don't.
This is not my thing.
No, no. Even,
No.
Although in high school I didn't mind doing the dissections.
Oh no, that didn't bother me. But if you told me I had to play with scat, no thanks.
Yeah, no. No,
There's a line, and that's about where it is.
it's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Quite literally.
Exactly.
But they did find you have a hiatal hernia.
Yes. So that might be reacting. They said that it was non-gangrenous, so
That's
a
a good
plus.
thing.
And
If you don't know what that is, it's basically there's a hole in your diaphragm that your esophagus drops through to get to your stomach. And if I remember correctly, that means it's that opening is too big, so your stomach can get pushed up through there. I have that myself actually, so it's if I don't eat, um, then I've done that at work where I just don't have time. By the time I get home, I'm in pain all through here, and if I eat, I want to vomit.
so we got a matching pair.
Yeah, we have something in common. Yay!
Exactly.
My sister actually had that. My older sister. She had gastric bypass surgery to lose weight, and they corrected it while they were in there, so it's no longer an issue for her.
But they don't want to do surgery for just that.
Well, no,
It's
it would
nothing.
have to be pretty severe for them to want to open you up
Yeah.
because they want to avoid cutting you open as much as they can.
Right. And I've already been through a hellacious surgery when I was 4. So
Yeah.
I was born with what they call pectus excavatum, which means sunken chest, basically. By the time I was 4, my mom could fit her fist into the indention in my chest. They said if I let it go, I would walk 5 steps and it would feel like I ran 5 miles. That I would have so much trouble breathing.
Well,
So
yeah, I would imagine your sternum being sunken in like that, it block your lungs from moving properly, and also, I would imagine, would interrupt your heart.
yeah. So when I was 4, I went in, had it corrected. They worked from my breastbone all the way down to my belly button and pulled everything forward. And that was fun for a 4-year-old not to be able to roll on your side or on your stomach. You got to lay flat, strap you down. Well,
Yeah, they didn't do a very good job.
no, not the first time. The first time I just slid my arms and legs out of it and we're like, nope, not doing it. So then they came in and strapped me down tighter, unfortunately. And funny thing is, I even remember my roommate. Her name was Tanya. Her mom's boyfriend backed over her with the car because he didn't see her playing in the driveway. But
Back then, that wasn't uncommon.
no,
I mean,
no,
that
it's
was
not.
what, mid to late 70s.
Yeah,
People really just didn't pay attention like we do now. We didn't have backup cameras.
yeah. So, and I don't personally remember this, but my mom said that everybody that did the surgery would come in and check on me. Even the anesthesiologist would come and visit me. And I just remember it being a really great place if you're sick. I was at Children's Hospital in Detroit, and it's uh, it was a lot for a 4 year old to have to deal with, but we get through. And uh, funny thing is, my doctor had a really interesting name. His name was Dr. Philippart.
That's who you want putting you together.
Yep, he fills the apart.
Well, to me, it sounds more like he's falling apart.
Eh, and it was funny. Not too long ago, Children's Hospital, somebody from there called to see how, and years later, how they influenced the lives. And my mom can't hear very well, so she said, told me what was going on in the message. And so I called the gentleman back and told him how I am doing now. And he was very surprised that it was the actual patient
Yeah,
calling back. And so
I can imagine.
I told him everything's going good. They did a actually when they did a bikini cut, so the scar on my chest from where they went in, if I wear a bikini, you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that scar isn't really that bad to begin with.
no,
I mean,
no,
it's barely noticeable. Like my surgical scar on my shoulder is more noticeable.
yeah,
I had we were just both of us have had just wonderful, wonderful medical problems all our lives. I was in a car accident in '90, I think '97, and it was about a year before we met, and uh, I was in the front passenger seat of the car. We were in a '95 Cavalier. We were hit by an '87 Buick. Guess who won that fight? It wasn't us, but they hit right behind my door. I was in the front passenger seat, and I bounced this shoulder off the door. As far as I can tell, I don't remember. I was knocked out. Um, we came up to an intersection. We started through the intersection after stopping, and I woke up in the hospital. No idea what happened in between. And the traffic lights were out because of a major storm that we had. And on the police report, it says that the person who hit us told the cop that the lights were not working, so she thought it was okay to just keep going. I mean, that was on the very first test I ever took to get my driver's license when I was 16. That was a question. If the traffic lights are out, what do you do? Treat it as an all-way stop. In this case, it would be a four-way stop because it was a four-way intersection. And then this person also tried to say that we hit her. She T-boned us, but we hit her. So, yeah, that put me out of work for 3 years. I had 3 operations. The shoulder has never been right since. It never will be. So, yay, fun.
and like I said, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in '96.
Yeah.
But I would end up in the emergency room with the stomach flu
Mm-hmm.
every so often.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit for the doctor to send me to a gastro doctor in order to get diagnosed. But
Well, back then, yeah, I'm sure this probably still happens now, but there were so many doctors who, whenever a woman came in, it was just, oh, you're fine. You're just complaining. There's nothing actually wrong with you. Uh, it happened to a friend of mine's mother, and it turned out she had cancer.
Yeah.
That's an issue I've seen with doctors. Is sometimes they don't want to listen.
I hate going to the doctor so much that I it takes a lot for me to have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be in like screaming pain.
Yeah,
And even then, it's like, I don't want to go.
yeah. But
I'll lay here
I
and
mean,
be
when you were
miserable.
that sick all the time,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
who gets the stomach flu that often?
Right.
You would think somebody would say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe we should look into this."
But the emergency room's there to patch you up and get you out,
Yeah,
not
you weren't
diagnose.
seeing a well, you weren't
Gastroenterologist.
seeing a like a general practice
No.
doctor at a clinic. You were going into the ER every time.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason that nobody ever caught it because you're not seeing the same doctor more than once.
Right. Right. But the doctor I have now is great.
Mm-hmm.
He's got me under control for the most part. Um, I think my lowest weight with the Crohn's was 83 pounds when I was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time for me to be able to get under control. I'm up to like 120, 125, somewhere in there right
and,
now.
Yeah, and you're 5'5".
Yep.
So
yeah.
Put that in perspective. My mother, when she died, she had cancer. She was 83 pounds at 5'7". So cancer's
Yeah.
don't get me started. Cancer's terrible. It shouldn't exist.
No. But yeah, the medications, my body is funny. It'll accept it for a while, and then all of a sudden, nope, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna put you in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yay, fun.
Yeah. Well, that's why you don't do like because you see all the ads for like Humira and several other infusion drugs that are supposed to be for lots of different autoimmune disorders. One that they advertise it for is Crohn's.
Yeah.
And you flat out refuse to even do that.
Yeah, because I was on one of those for 3 years. It for 3 years I was at a good weight.
Yeah.
You know, had me in remission, and then
all of a sudden you're allergic to it.
Yep. And I'm in the hospital again. So, no fun.
No.
But I think we're pretty much in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've mostly got you sorted out.
Yep, just that one.
Crohn's disease is never going to go away. That's just something you have to live with for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And lately, neither one of us has been feeling too good. Although it's probably because we ate stuff we shouldn't have. One of the things,
bacon.
Yes. Oh, but bacon is so good.
Yes.
I've got something going on that's as of yet undiagnosed. The last time I went in, I actually had to do a downscope and an upscope, and then they told me, "Well, we didn't see anything." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you didn't see anything in there, then either you're blind or there's nothing going on. But I know something's going on.
Yeah.
Certain foods will just aggravate my gut.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid them. And you're not supposed to have anything with pork because it's one of your trigger foods for your Crohn's.
Yeah.
But we were visiting some friends, and for breakfast they made bacon, and I just couldn't resist.
Me neither.
So we were both a little bit miserable for a while, but
yeah,
it was worth it. I like bacon.
Yes. Don't cheat very often, but
no. Well, there's a lot of things you can't have anymore.
Yeah.
Like anything with seeds or nuts, corn.
Yep. Onions.
Onions, yeah.
I used to love making fried potatoes and onions for a snack.
See, I'm not a huge fan of onions to begin with. So I like some. It depends on what I'm eating. I don't like cooked onions. I prefer them raw.
Yeah, I love to make fried potatoes and onions for a snack, and
No.
it's like, nope.
I don't like the onions cooked. I like them raw.
And then there's the biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, can't have that anymore.
No, but it's so good.
Can't have most peppers.
Right.
In fact, you can't have black pepper.
No, I can have white pepper,
Which is weird. Yeah. We discovered that by accident. Someone suggested it one day because she really missed having pepper on her food.
Yeah.
Try white pepper. I didn't know that was a thing,
Well,
but
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
And she can eat it and it doesn't bother her. But if you put black pepper on her food, she's miserable.
Yeah, I'm running for the bathroom
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you
for
were going to
days.
full flare up for about a week.
Yeah,
So.
and be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're out doing something at a store and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
your tummy says,
Tony says we got to go now.
Yep.
And it doesn't care if you don't want to. It doesn't care where you're at. Yeah.
Oh.
No, when it starts talking like that, you better listen.
Yes.
So,
Run.
a lot of people don't understand just what Crohn's disease affects.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I said, it starts at the mouth and goes all the way to the back. Bottom line.
Yeah. Yep. It can affect anything in the digestive tract. So,
yeah.
I mean, you've had pancreatitis.
Oh God, that was miserable.
Yeah.
I was also accused of being an alcoholic because I had pancreatitis.
Yep. I remember that. Because only alcoholics get pancreatitis. You know, people with Crohn's disease get it too.
Yep. I had that test, an ERCP.
Yes.
And I didn't know this, but the dye can send people into pancreatitis. And it sent me into pancreatitis, and I was begging the doctor for more morphine. And he's like, I can't, it'll kill you. I said, I don't care.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. And they were checking what, the bile ducts from your pancreas, right?
Yep.
So and they inject the dye, and it basically aggravated the pancreas, so it swells up. Well, there's nowhere for it to go. So it can be very painful.
Oh, but nothing compared to that kidney stone I had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to die.
I can imagine.
I was the patient that no nurse wants.
Mm-hmm.
When they were wheeling me to my room, it's like, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I never complain.
Yeah, and then they finally got you to a room. The nurse came in and says, it looks like you're in for kidney stones. I've had kidney stones and I've given birth to 4 children. I would rather give birth to all 4 children at once than go through kidney stones again.
Yes.
And she was very matter of fact about it. She said that was far worse than childbirth. So then you didn't feel so bad about being
yelling,
being that patient. Yeah, being that patient. But,
yeah, it's not me. Whenever my Crohn's would flare and I'd end up in the hospital, it's like I just lay there and try to be quiet and respectful of everybody else in the emergency room. And the nurse would come in and check on me, and I'd kind of laugh at something, and my mom would be like, don't laugh, they're gonna think you're not as sick as you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just, I can be in pain and still
I mean,
act like a normal person.
Yeah, I can be in horrific pain and just keep going. You know, you do learn to get used to it.
Yeah, my diagnosing doctor, the one that diagnosed me with Crohn's, told my mom and dad that I had an incredible pain threshold. And so
I would, before all my surgeries, I could dislocate the shoulder just opening a door. You know, grab the doorknob, turn it, pull, and shoulder's out of place. And I had to pop it back in. And it got to where I was so used to it, I could just, no issue at all. If I stub my toe, it still hurts like hell. You know, you get used to a specific pain, not just pain in general.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so used to this hurting. Most of the time, if I'm complaining about it, it's really bad.
Yeah. I remember when I was like 93 pounds and that my full-blown Crohn's flare going on, and I'd go into a store and people in there'd be like, hey, look how skinny she is.
You have to speak up. I don't know if the microphone will hear you.
They'd whisper,
yeah,
look how skinny she is. Look at her shaking. because
Yeah.
the medications I was on.
Yeah, they'd cause tremors.
And they assume I was a drug addict.
Yeah. Don't
And
just make assumptions when
no,
you see someone, because you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what's going on in their body. You have
right,
no idea.
exactly.
Because, yeah, I remember people staring, and I mean, it aggravated the hell out of me because it's like, no, she's not a drug addict. She has Crohn's disease. Her medication makes her shake. But everybody wants to make assumptions about what what they see without asking questions. And I think it's okay to ask questions as long as you're
Exactly.
respectful about it.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't just walk up to an amputee and say, "Hey, how'd you lose your arm?" That's freaking rude. Funny story. My mom's best friend when I was a kid, she lost her left leg to cancer right at the hip, and they would go to lunch every Sunday. My mom and her best friend, and they would be sitting at a booth, and these little old ladies just get out of church every week would come over and just, oh, you poor dear, what happened? And they got so tired of it they started making up stories. I think one time my mom told them that that her best friend was a alligator wrestler in Florida, and an alligator tore her leg off, and they believed it. Another time they told her that she was uh, a skydiver, and parachute didn't open. you know, they would just make up things like that. And we had one time we went to Kmart when I was probably about 7 or 8, and we were in my mom's friend's car, so we had the handicap license plate, and she parked without thinking about it. My mom was actually driving for some reason, but she parked the car in the handicap space, and because my mom's best friend, who's basically she was my aunt, but my aunt Judy is getting out of the car now. She's on crutches. She tried a artificial leg; it just didn't work for her. I'm not sure how well one of those would work for anybody because like I said, they took it right up to the hip bone, not the hip socket, up to the bone. So I mean, they told her when she was pregnant with her second child, she couldn't give birth to it. She couldn't even carry it because half of her pelvis was missing. She did it anyway, and he came out just fine. But anyway, so as we're all getting out of the car, this cop pulls up and says, "Excuse me, don't you know? I know you got a plate, but the handicapped person has to actually be with you." And my Aunt Judy hops around the car and says, "Excuse me, do I look normal to you?" And he was speechless. He just, oh my God, I am so sorry. And he felt like he was this big.
I'm sure.
And we all just kind of laughed about it because to her, she didn't have a disability. You know,
Yeah.
that's just, I mean, that's how things were back then. You just deal with it.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, if you made her mad, do not run. She will catch you. I don't know how many times my best friend and I, it was his mom, we would just do something absolutely stupid and make her mad. And if you ran, she would catch up to you. And she would use one of her crutches to trip you and then hold you down with one of them. So I learned very quickly, don't just stand there and take it because you know it's coming. And it's going to be worse if you run. Like if you try to run from a bear, you're going to get hurt. Just
Yeah.
stand there. But
Take your medicine.
yep, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of digressed there off of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, people don't really think about Crohn's as being a disability, but it very much is.
Yeah.
I mean, it affects everybody differently. One of my dad's friends, his wife died 2 years ago, and it was from complications from Crohn's disease. And he didn't even know then that it could be deadly.
Yeah.
You know, he had no idea that he just knew one of his friends had Crohn's just like she does, and didn't realize it can actually it can
It can be fatal.
yeah, it can unsubscribe you.
Yeah.
You know, because it can lead to a whole host of complications.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Luckily, you haven't had most of them.
Exactly. I haven't had to go through any surgeries. I've known people that have had to go in and have surgery for it.
Oh
But
yeah,
knock
your
on
entire
wood, I have not had to go in for any surgeries.
yeah. I mean, there's that one woman you met. She had to wear a colostomy bag, and because she had her entire large intestine had to be removed.
Yeah.
I think that happened when she was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So, and any autoimmune disorder can be very bad. And my sister has lupus. My mother had lupus. Yeah, what time is it? Okay.
But all right.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there, and
it's a good update.
Yeah, we'll update more as things go on. I'm gonna try and get some more videos going.
Any suggestions? Put them in the
yeah. If you want to hear
comments.
Just talking about life, you know, we can do that. We can react to stupid videos. I don't care. I'm open to pretty much anything here.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
just fun creating content.
Yep.
Sometimes setting up the video can be a pain.
Yeah.
We're very limited on space. So,
yes.
I mean, we're in our basement right now and it is full. So, trying to find someplace to put cameras and backdrop and everything else.
Yep.
Oh, what a nightmare. We need more space.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe YouTube will take off and we'll be rich and famous. I doubt it. But hey, you never know, right?
Yeah. I mean, I went to school for broadcast arts, but that was to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
Not in front.
Yeah, and back then, cameras and everything was totally. I'm getting so much vibration off of things in the room. I from my voice. I'm trying not to talk too loud because there's a stand-up freezer right behind this. There's a refrigerator right here, and I'm hearing everything vibrate around me. So I'm sure the microphones are picking it up too.
Yep.
But yeah, when you went to school for that though, everything was different. They were just starting to use computers.
Yeah. Yep. For editing and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. I still back when I went to school for it, it was in '94, and we were still being taught how to splice.
Oh yeah, splice videotape.
Yep. From reel to reel.
Yeah.
Audio and
audio and video, because they used to use videotape, and I'm pretty sure they were probably still using film cameras.
Yeah,
to an extent. I don't think everybody was using them, but some people were starting to go to the new digital cameras, which weren't. I mean, those things were gigantic.
Oh yeah. When I was interning for a company, I don't want to say it because I don't want to get anything.
I don't want to put that out there.
When I was working for the company, setting up for like football games, baseball games, and everything, we had to use the big microphone with the cone on the back of it, and the name of it is escaping me right now. But standing out there freezing my little butt off at football games.
Talking about a boom mic?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like on a pole, or is it one of those ones you hold? It's got like a radar dish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And we were at a high school game, and I'm sitting next to the camera guy that's got the big old camera up on his shoulder.
Oh, I remember that story.
I see the
players
were coming straight at me and the camera guy, and he's not moving.
He probably couldn't see them.
So I grabbed his belt loop and I jerked it backwards, and I'm like, "They're coming!"
Yeah, well, they were probably not in his field of view, or he didn't. Through the camera, I'm sure you can't tell how far away something is.
Yeah,
you lose depth perception not having both eyes.
It was funny. He's like, "Thank you."
Imagine tiny little her grabbing a big guy by the belt and yanking it backwards. Yeah, well, it certainly beats getting bowled over by a linebacker.
Yeah.
That would hurt.
Yep, I saw that come in and I was like, yeah, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, and how much do those cameras cost? Or
Lots
back
of
then,
money.
anyway.
Lots of money.
Yeah, I mean now you use cell phones, but back then it was
Big handheld on the shoulder,
mm-hmm.
big old cable
Yeah,
in the back.
yeah, running straight into the truck.
Yep.
Yeah, because that wasn't really for recording so much as broadcasting.
Yeah.
Like doing live. So you had the big like transmitter thing sticking out of the van, or
Yep.
Okay,
And
giant microwave.
big old cable hooked to the van, and that was a hard thing to do because I really didn't like the guy. So, but that camera is
It's
gonna
like, oh,
cost a
yeah.
lot of
I can
money.
just imagine you sitting there like, oh, good, he's gonna get pulled over. That's gonna be fun to watch. Crap, that camera's $20,000,
Exactly.
which back then was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, you know, my car, $20,000. Imagine paying that for a camera. And there are cameras that are worth more than that. But yeah, you didn't want to see that kind of equipment get destroyed.
Exactly.
You didn't care about him.
No. No, not really. It would have been funny to see him get knocked into because he arrogant.
Oh, one of those guys.
Yeah. So, but I think we've been
Yeah.
blabbering on for
Yeah, we already said we were going to cut it, and then we didn't do it. So,
full of stories.
yes. I had so much fun. But that's our lives. We're just, here's what we're going to talk about. Okay, let's talk about everything else. And eventually we'll get back to it. That is our chaos.
Yes.
Start working on one project and, oh, what's this over here? I have ADHD. I can't help it.
I feel like I do, but looking at all the different things I get,
Yeah.
I don't think that is.
No, you stay focused on things pretty well. You did better in school than I did. That's because I was bored.
Yeah,
I wasn't learning anything. But that's another discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Is the public school system.
I loved English, so that was every
Yeah.
time I'd get an elective course, I would take
An English class. Yep. Whereas I hated it.
Oh, I had one teacher. Oh, because this was the 80s. All right, I graduated in '91, and yeah, big hair and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and
There are still pictures.
never to be on the internet. And I would wear the skinny jeans, stretch pants,
Yeah.
and rock T-shirts and everything. And my mom and dad had parent teacher conference with this one English teacher, and she was like, I didn't think she would even pass my class, let alone ace it. Just by the way I looked.
Well, again, don't make assumptions about people.
Exactly.
I mean, and back then that was pretty common also.
Yeah.
I mean, I got singled out walking into the building one day at my high school. I was across the street. There was a donut shop, and a lot of us would just go over there, grab coffee, whatever, a donut, have a cigarette, because you can't. At that point, you weren't allowed to smoke on school grounds, even if you're a teacher. It just wasn't allowed. And I'm coming back in, and one of the guys, more preppy looking, walking in front of me, reeked of pot. I mean, you could tell what he was smoking over there. And the assistant principal grabbed me, thinking I was the stoner because I had long hair and a leather jacket. Never been in trouble in my life, but I have long hair, leather jacket. I'm the troublemaker. I'm the guy who stinks like pot, not the guy who walked in with his eyes all red, but he's wearing, real nice preppy clothes. So he couldn't be the problem. That's just how things were back then. And I think that to an extent they're still like that.
Yeah.
You know, people are always judging everybody else, and it's irritating. Yeah, well, that's also a discussion for another time.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.